there, fellow travelers. Mark
Hi, Jocelyn.
with Wolters World. And hey, today we're here for maybe this is going to be our last live feed for the year.
Yeah.
Maybe. But it's also the 22nd day of Christmas travel. We've been doing this every single day, putting out new videos and live feeds and all kinds of stuff every day for this whole month of December so far. Going to the 25th of December to give you all some Christmas cheer and some other travel stuff. And so I want to say hi to all our fans that have been writing to us over the year. It's been really great. Kartoffelhunden, Glitzy, aus der Vereinigten Staaten. So not as cool as the Schweiz, but still nice. Hey, Diego, Steel Gamer, good to see you too. And so we want to say hey, and we're going to start off, because I know it's an early morning on Saturday, we're going to give some kind of holiday travel advice to start off, and then when we get some questions coming in, we'll get on those too. So, would you like to start, or?
No, you go ahead.
All right. So I would say one thing is that if you guys haven't heard, I mean, there's there's some storms on the east coast of the U.S. That's going on, and Gatwick Airport in London was closed for basically a couple of days because people were flying drones around it to keep the planes from going off. So taking off and landing and stuff like that. So the big thing I want to tell you is make sure you check your website and check your flight status before you head to the airport to make sure everything's okay. Because they already know they're going to cancel or they're going to delay stuff. They usually let people know earlier when it comes to the holidays. So do check those things out to see if you need to kind of adjust your arrival times and stuff like that. Also, give yourself ample time through the security checkpoints, because with all the gifts and people wrapping stuff up, maybe one taking food and things like that, the security checkpoint might take a little bit longer
at Christmas time, doesn't it? Because
Yes.
people are like putting gifts in there, and those gifts aren't TSA approved. So
Or the TSA isn't sure what it is, so you gotta unwrap it. So do be careful with that, okay?
yeah, and that really stinks when they're unwrapping gifts, and the people getting them are in line with you. So,
Yeah, so
be
if you're
careful with that.
yes, if you're going with your kids, maybe have the kids go through first and one of the parents go. If there's anything, then have the parents stay while the other kids are fixing their shoes later on.
Right.
So we want to say hi to some of the people that have written to us. Alvin, hello. Travel with Aaron. Hey, happy holidays and happy New Year to you too, buddy. Have fun in Guatemala when you go down there. Alvin in Iceland. Hey, hope you're doing good. Edith, felices fiestas para ti también. Do alto da montaña. Hola, mi amigo. I hope everything's going good. Eric, hey, Gruß aus Österreich. So hi to our Austrian friends watching. Eric from Vancouver, hello, hello. Our buddies in Poland, yeah, like I said, Polish language is
Are
tough.
you typing while you're making a delivery? That's not a good idea.
Yes, no texting and driving, just listening and driving, okay? So do that, buddy. But Feliz Natal for you. Hey, Ian, hello, hello. Hello, our friends in Canada and Ontario, Nova Scotia. And hey, from Brown down in B. Brown in India. And everybody in Ireland. So just want to say very, very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's from all of you. In Tbilisi, Georgia, hope you guys are doing good there too. And all these things. So some other Christmas travel advice we probably want to give you all.
Red light.
Red light, okay. Well, be careful, buddy. Some other things we want to talk about with Christmas travel. I know, like, because Santa Claus is coming, you know, because if you've been good or bad, and sometimes I know we know families sometimes travel over the holidays, and so sometimes Santa Claus can't always get to where people are. So one thing that Santa Claus does with our kids, the years we haven't been here, we're chilling out at home this year, hopefully. So we had lots of guests and stuff. So what Santa Claus usually does at our house when we travel, he'll have like, you know, because he knows who the kids are, and he'll have like one small present he'll bring to them when we're traveling, and then he lets them know that, hey, the other gifts will be there when we get back. So we've had some trips where we've been gone into January, and the kids got back, and we got back like the 8th of January, and they ran in. Santa Claus said the stockings were full.
Second Christmas.
Yep, the milk had curdled by then, but he drank what was left of the milk and the cookies and stuff like that. So that was there when we got back. But it was nice because Santa Claus let him know that he would drop it off. So that was kind of cool. So that's one thing you could look at out there. And then if you're looking at gifts for within the family, what we do in those times when we travel is we'll actually, like, you know, a couple days before we leave, we'll actually open up like the gifts from us to the kids and the kids for us. So they have some stuff to take with us when we travel. So there's some new things to make it special for them. But we know as a family, when you're traveling with the holidays, it can be a bit stressful. So have that patience, have those things there. But that's what we've done on the years we haven't been home. So hopefully I can help some parents when you're traveling this week for your holidays.
Little bit easier on you.
Yes, it does. So Kelly, Benfica, indeed.
SLB.
SLB, glorioso, SLB.
It's just saying Viva Sporting.
Yeah, Viva Sporting. Hey, let's keep it clean on here, Jose. No sporting references. Yeah, we have so we have some, you don't know, Benfica and Sporting are two of the big teams in Lisbon and Portugal, and my our kids are on different sides of that. But we've had some fun times. We buy soccer jerseys around the world. We'll have the kids wear them, and the kids like them. Especially Caleb really likes the jerseys, and they've actually made for some interesting conversations when we travel.
Oh,
So
and it's gotten us invited to dinners in people's homes and all sorts of stuff when we
yeah,
buy the local team, not just the country team. That local team that'll get people excited, doesn't
yeah.
it?
Like Liam loves his Cuenca Ecuador shirt, and we go around, and there's some Ecuadorian going, "Hey, this is the Cuenca team," and like
Yeah.
it
They're
started
always
up a lot of
shocked at it.
conversation.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, we were in Morocco. The kids had Hakimi, like they had national team jerseys with Hakimi on it. That's one of the big players. And everyone went, Hakimi, Hakimi.
Yeah.
And it really like lightened the mood a lot of places, and people got really excited to see the kids wear local stuff. Because, like you wear a Manchester United jersey, you can wear that anywhere. But if you're wearing like, some local Serie C team, like our kids wear their Vicenza jerseys everywhere, people are
Yeah, they
like,
do.
what's a Vicenza? But the Vicenza people are like, yes, Forza Ragazzi. So
Yeah.
it is kind of nice.
It's cool.
Oh,
Sam's asking about Australia. Sam, Mark lived in Australia, but that was way pre Walters World.
a long time
That
ago
was right before we
in a
met.
few weight categories ago. Yes.
Yeah, so at some point there will be some really good Australia videos because he's got a lot of really good local knowledge and his family,
The
his
rights.
exchange family,
We still stay in contact. They're wonderful people.
yep, send Christmas cards and stuff back
Hi,
and forth
rights.
too.
Yeah.
So
Surprise! Your card's going to be a little late. We did get in the mail.
yeah, no, all our Christmas cards are a little late this year.
Yeah.
We've been really busy. I feel like I haven't been home for more than 14 days at a stretch since like the 26th of September. So a lot of things have
No,
fallen
because
by
then
the
we went to
wayside.
May. Then we went to Wales.
I know
In England.
14 days is the longest I've been home
Yeah. When was
for
that?
me.
Oh, I'm trying to remember when you were actually
it
home
was
for
between
2 weeks.
it was between two trips. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
like,
which ones.
I was saying, it
But
was like I think there was 2 weeks this summer we had.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
so it's been a bit crazy.
it's been a crazy time, and I'm glad to not be traveling like mad during the Christmas holidays for just once because I need a break.
Yeah.
I need a little
We're all,
nap.
we're all a little tired. It's been a great year of traveling. I can't complain about that. With some really amazing, places. Ecuador was fun with the hummingbirds and the kids having fun there, and the nature
And the
natural beauty of
equator.
the equator, and that was
That
really
was
cool.
awesome.
I thought we had. I think our best family trip though. I think was for just us when we went to Wales and England, and we just had a road trip together and just kind of chilled, and we just had some Airbnb houses and just relaxed. That was really a good time.
We always do really well with road trips, and we are the people who will sort of we get the first place that we're going to stay when we get to a country, and we always get the last place, but oftentimes the places in between are sort of last minute,
Yeah,
and
and sometimes it's the best. Sometimes it's a little hectic, but it is kind of nice.
yeah.
So we have a few questions come in. So Chris Sharp writes, "Hey guys, where's the best place to travel in March?" Um, let's see. Well, if you're looking in the U.S. or you're looking in Europe, Europe, Europe actually, as long as you're staying out of Northern Europe, you're pretty much good most places. Because that's when the weather's kind of turning. You'll be wet. I'm gonna say that's when the rain is. But you can have a nice time there because the weather's starting to turn. You have very few tourists, except if there's like an early Easter. But like, there's just no tourists going around that time, except you're going to like spring break destinations in like
Yeah,
Cancun,
this-
Central America, Caribbean, the southern U.S.
Right.
get really popular in beachy locations because of the spring breakers. But otherwise, March is a pretty good time to go travel.
Yeah, actually, I really like traveling in March. We have spring breaks.
Yeah,
we
usually
often-
you've gone to Amsterdam.
Yeah,
and
I've
other
done
places.
a couple of trips around March and April. Then and they're just it's fantastic to travel then because there's not a lot of people, and so there's not a lot of pressure on the people who are working in the tourism industry. So you get even better service, I think, more personalized service. So Mariana, I want to say Kala Kristulina to you and the rest of Greece, and Christian, no, I'm not a teacher, so I would not be on that website. Anyway, what do I do for a living? I do this. My background is in historic preservation, and architectural history and stuff, but I can't really
I just had breakfast. I'm like, oh, has nothing to do with what she just said. She's awesome at architectural history.
But I don't. It would be really hard for me to have that kind of job, as a project manager or something, and travel like we do. So I just soak up the architecture as I travel. So that's my job, and Walter's World is my job, and raising our kids and keeping our house, and that's a full-time job. So that's what I do for a
You have a
living.
fantastic job.
Some days.
Every day, baby. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to. So Jason Mantel writes, "Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you too. Going to be going to Vancouver from the UK for my first solo holiday. Any advice, recommendations?" Okay, so Jason, there's a couple sketchy parts of Vancouver, but nothing too bad. We have a Dunce of Vancouver video and Eats of Vancouver video to help you out. But in general, Vancouver's really cool. I mean, the architect, you're going there for nature kind of stuff. So look for the hikes, look for going some of the suspension bridges, going out on some runs. They got some bike rentals you can do that. That's really cool. Go on a whale watching tour. Those were really, really, really worth it if you're going to be there when it's the season for that. The food is fantastic there. Eat sushi till you explode. Because I mean, seriously, some of the best sushi we've had outside of Japan. I mean, it's fantastic.
Where I wasn't paying attention.
Vancouver.
Oh, Vancouver. Sorry.
Can you tell we're
I
both?
was reading.
We're getting towards the end of the year, and I've been trying to get a lot of my videos out. And the end of the school year, for those of you who don't know, I'm a professor to my day jobs. We finished the semester. I got my grades turned in on Thursday, so my brain is like melted. So
And we spent all day yesterday in dual Christmas parties from 9 o'clock until 3
for their
the
kids.
Entire day. But it
So
was
we were those
really
parents.
cool.
We were those parents being there to be the ones. We helped make sure the kids got their cupcakes and didn't go too crazy and all kinds of fun stuff.
It was really fun though. And our kids this year, Caleb's class is reading buddies with Liam's class, and so they got to have a joint Christmas party, which was really great to see the two of them together and stuff when they weren't picking on each other.
Yes. So
They're brothers.
Yeah, they're brothers. They are what they are. So Marquette Ben writes, where would you suggest? Well, where would we suggest to travel to? Well, first time travelers. One thing is, it's cool to explore your own country or your own state or your own county, your own province, wherever you are. And that's one of the things that when you're first trying to travel, sometimes it's good to like get a feel for traveling, doing something local. So like I'm from Illinois, so like our first trips were going to St. Louis or Chicago to get an idea, and then we did bigger trips later to make sure we kind of like had a dry run of a small place. So you can look at places nearby. Easy place to travel to in general for more exotic locations. I mean, if you got the same language that you speak, that's always an easy one. But I find like easy place to travel: Ireland, England, Australia,
the UK in general.
The UK and Ireland in general is just really, really easy to do. Scandinavia is easy to do as well because of the transportation, the language stuff. So that's nice.
Throw Iceland into
Yeah, throw Iceland in for there too. I like Portugal actually for cheap, friendly, safe, kind people. Mm-hmm. That's another nice one as well for Europe. Japan is also really nice because people are very helpful. They'll leave you to yourself, but they'll also be very helpful if you ask. So that's really nice.
Costa Rica.
Oh yeah, Costa Rica.
And Ecuador to that probably too.
Yeah. So hopefully
just easy. Peru maybe, but there's a
Peru. There's a
really
lot of tourism there.
adventurous.
Yeah, there's a lot of tourism there. So there's a lot of options and a lot of tour groups and a lot of things you can do. So
that kind
sometimes
of
it can be sometimes it can be but it can be a little overwhelming sometimes when you're not sure.
Yes.
So heads up for that
somebody had asked about a baby moon, and I wanted to address that really quickly. We didn't do that with Caleb, but we sort of did it with Liam. I mean, we had Caleb with us, but we went to Ireland and just took like about 10 days, and we just drove around the country, and I really liked that because Ireland is easy to see. They have a great infrastructure for tourism, but also it was like relaxing because all we were doing was driving. It wasn't like got to catch a flight. There was like, wasn't boom, 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 boom. We could just kind of go and do it at our leisure. And so I kind of like a road trip of some sort for that where there's not a lot of stress. And I would also say you don't want to fly a whole lot because you never know how that's going to affect you. Like, you might be more air sick than normal or, things like that. So keep that in the back of your mind as you travel when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in the post-baby moon. Because we actually started traveling with our kids about 6 weeks.
Oh, baby moon's before the baby,
Oh,
isn't
it
it?
is. Oh,
Oh, I always
didn't.
thought it was before the baby.
I,
If
I,
it's after the
I just
baby,
I just look pregnant.
just
No.
take them and throw them in a little baby Bjorn and
You'll be good to
go,
go.
man. That's
Yeah.
easy. We enjoyed that. That's the best time to travel with kids,
Oh yeah, when they're little.
and they get used to it. So
Mm-hmm.
we're all about that.
Yep. So I got a few quick ones here. So Mr. Batman writes, "Are you guys going to make videos on U.S. territories like Puerto Rico or Guam?" Jocelyn has a 511 hates of Puerto Rico. We don't have anything for Guam yet, but we're going to try to get some more places like a Puerto Rico's and Guam's territories and stuff like that. We're looking into that for next year. That's where our fans, we have some fan voting options out there for where they want us to go. So there's some stuff there. Android 16 writes, "Is Atlanta a city to go for vacation or just a weekend?" A weekend. Just
There's
a
a
weekend.
lot to do in Atlanta,
Yeah.
but it's not a vacation. There's
It's a
like a
weekend.
there's a lot of it's a weekend, but I mean there's a lot, but there's a lot of cool stuff not far from Atlanta.
Yeah,
Like you can go to
Athens,
Savannah,
Georgia is
Charleston.
beautiful. Yeah, Charleston
Go
is
up to
nice.
Helen, Georgia is a really beautiful place.
But you wouldn't use Atlanta as your base for those places. You'd
no,
go to
but
those
fly
places.
in, see it, and
Yeah.
then go to the other places.
So, Porgs for life, right? Should I go to Pequod's or well, when there, it's one of the deep dish pizza places in Chicago. When there's a lot of people, when there's not a lot of people in Chicago, you can go to there. You can go to
Anytime.
Giordano's. You can go to Gina's East. You can go to Lou Malnati's. There's so many great Chicago style pizza places that you might have to wait. It takes 45 minutes to make the pizza anyway. So you might just sit at the bar and be like, hey, and you'll meet people, so you have fun there.
But also look on our video because some locals put in some local places for
Yeah.
for the
For the-
Chicago pies.
Yeah, look up 5 Eats of Chicago. That should help you out.
Yeah, that'll get you local stuff.
So
in there, too.
another Greek friend of ours asked what do we do for Brussels and Bruges. Spend more time in Bruges. Brussels got some nice museums. The main square, the Golden Square there is nice. Mannequin Piss is only about this tall, so it's kind of
But
disappointing.
you can see a lot of the
Yeah.
stuff in Brussels in a
And I-
weekend, a day,
Yeah,
2
but
days.
but I would stay in Bruges and do more Bruges and Ghent because that's much more tourist friendly kind of stuff that you'll really enjoy. And it looks like that old Brussels kind of stuff. Though that's really nice. So
Palestine. Well, we're hoping to do Israel and Palestine this fall.
yeah,
We're crossing our fingers. We haven't bought the tickets yet, but that is the goal.
yes, we have the books. We got the stuff. We've already doing the research. So any tips? We're always happy to hear some more advice. So Brittany asked, "Are we going to get some more Africa videos?" That Morocco video was a tease. I have Don'ts of Morocco, Shocks of Morocco, What's to Know About Casablanca, 511 Hates of Marrakesh. All those will be coming. Right now, we're kind of in a lull for the travel season, and so people start really planning in January. So we're gonna have some more like
The bigger videos.
the bigger videos
will
gonna be coming out January,
soon.
February. So they are coming. Don't worry. And then we're gonna be going to East Africa later this year. So we'll have some Rwanda and Tanzania videos and stuff like that. So yeah, so we're getting those things together. What is the best village in England? Oh, Vatican Assassin 4. She's like this. I think we need a Jocelyn Wolters 12-month calendar. Merry Christmas, you guys are awesome. I agree. I have pushed for this for years, but she's like, no. And then I offered to do mine. She's like, no. But thank you, Vatican Assassin. We will look into that for merch for next year. maybe a 365 of Jocelyn giving me dirty looks.
I have RBF. What do you want?
There we go. Okay, so Porks for Lives had another one. Giordano's is good or is it overrated? Giordano's is fine. I actually ate there last week when I was in Chicago. You'll be fine with that. But eating in Chicago, they have like stuff you can buy them, and they're kind of like a chain now, so they're outside of Chicago. And I find the farther you get from Chicago, the less tasty it is. Hey, from Liechtenstein in India. Hey guys, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays for anybody there. Let's see.
Best city in the U.S. for food, sport, and nature. That's tough because we've got so many great places. Food is so regional in the United States. I mean, you can go just about anywhere and get good food in a larger city and find a lot of stuff. But like, I feel like the Northwest is a really great place for like outdoor sports
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say
nature
Seattle.
and things like that. Yeah.
I'd say Seattle. Tons of outdoor stuff to do there. Really enjoy. The food is fantastic. Though they do like force a
Denver, too.
20% tax on your food when you or a service charge on top. So that surprises some people. But yeah, I think the Northwest is
And I think
if you're going for nature.
Denver
Or
would
the
be a great
Southeast.
and Denver would be a great place too because you've got the mountains and everything. They've got great funky foods. They have their own really special stuff in Colorado. But There are also national sports teams there that would be great. And the Southeast has the same sort of thing where you can do totally different outdoor nature stuff, but they also have a lot of
Southwest. I mean, there's just it's a lot of
sporting teams like, you know, baseball, basketball, football, all that good stuff.
So Brittany FFFF writes, I don't believe that traveling with kids is easier when they're little. There's no way you have to bring a lot of extra stuff. No, you don't. You don't have to bring a lot of extra stuff. What we're talking about being easier is when you're talking like under one, when they're not walking around. That's the easiest because they're not walking around.
The best.
Toughest time is probably 1 to 18 months or 1 to 2 because they want to be mobile and they don't understand. You got to sit. So that's like the kind of tough thing. But I understand what you mean by not having to bring as much stuff with them.
But you know, when our kids were little, truly it was like have a few pacifiers and have a big thing of wipes. I always needed a lot of wipes. And we carried our kids in the baby Bjorns, so that made that really easy. And then after they got a little bigger, we had that go-go babies thing that we attached to their car seats. So they're big. Yeah, we just pulled them around like a piece of luggage. So, and I always bought a lot of stuff on the go. So like I would have some diapers. I'd have 10 or 12 diapers. But then I just bought those things wherever we were because you know what? There are kids everywhere you go. So those throwaway things that you're going to use throughout the time, I just bought them as I went so I didn't have to take a lot of them. And then also, here's a hint, if you have small people, take a couple of outfits in Ziploc bags because at some point they will have a blowout. And so if you have a clean outfit in a Ziploc bag, you can take that out and then put the dirty stuff back in there, zip it up, and it doesn't touch anything.
Yep.
Okay.
So Leo F says, in May, I'll be in Europe for 17 days. Want to rent an RV and drive around. Have you guys done that? Is it worth the money wise? Honestly, I don't think it's worth for 17 days. I don't know if it's really worth it because finding a place to park, because some places you can find some like camping spots outside to leave it, but then you got to get into town.
Their RVs are a lot smaller than ours, so in some respect, they're easier than.
I think a lot of it depends where you're going to be. Like if you're going to be in Scandinavia, it would be
Germany would be Germany's they're very RV friendly. They do a lot of RV.
But like Portugal, only if you're in the South Portugal, I really feel because otherwise, like where are you going to put it? So it can be a little tough. So I do a little more research on that. But I mean, you could do it, but
you know, we do a lot of road trips. We just end up renting a car and taking that, and that works pretty well.
Yeah. So Jack doesn't like cheese. Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you very much. And Merry Christmas to everybody out there. We really appreciate all your support this year. It's been fantastic. We got some more questions we're trying to get through. So, yes, we're trying to get to India. We're trying to get to Salt Lake City as well. My mom will be there at the end of next month, so you see her walking around.
She goes every year.
She goes every year. Say hi. Boston is great for a sports town shakes. You're right there.
And good food, too.
Yeah, really good seafood.
Yeah, actually, the Northeast would be pretty good.
Yeah, basically, you're fine anywhere you go. It's just FYI.
Yeah.
So, Justin Shurey, we went to Orlando for 2 weeks ago, and you're right. The traffic and the people there are crazy. I thought my wife was going to have a nervous breakdown. Yeah, I know. It's just insane. And you were there. I mean, you're probably in the holiday season when the first rush starts to go. Now, imagine how it was 2 weeks ago, Justin. It's like twice as bad right now. And for the next 2 weeks.
It's not my gig, man. I can't do that. That stresses me out just thinking about it.
I know. So Larry M., have you ever been to Central Asia, aka the Stands? We're actually looking for that to be our big trip, maybe summer 2020. Go for 6 weeks to the Stands and stuff like that. So that's in our possibilities for summer 2020 stuff. So for our big trip, so we can go see Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Georgia, Azerbaijan, those kind of things. So.
My Italian teacher did her master's or PhD in Kazakhstan, and she's got me really pumped about that. I think that it's going to be really awesome.
So Jose Pereira, our buddy, who's not driving while he's writing this.
Merry Christmas, Feliz Natal.
Yeah, Jose. So Jose does bring up a good thing. He says, traveler's advice, if you ever buy anything in liquid form, like bottles of maple syrup, which I've done, check to make sure that the liquid amount is allowed through security. Had to leave behind a bottle once in Quebec City. Aww. That sucks, man.
Yeah, that's...
But Jose makes a good point. When you're buying liquids, like whether it's wine, whether it's maple syrup, whether it's you like your I don't know, colognes or whatever, you really, if it's going to be carry-on, it's got to be that 3 ounces or less, or 100 mils or less, because they'll make you picture. It doesn't matter if I drank half the same maple syrup. Doesn't matter. The container holds more. So what you're going to want to do with those liquids, what we do is we usually have a few extra Ziplocs in our suitcases, and we'll take the thing and we'll wrap it up, and then we'll put it inside of a Ziploc, get the air out, and then Ziploc it closed, then kind of wrap it in some of the thicker clothes to make it like kind of supported,
Yeah,
and it
put it
goes
in the
into
middle
our
of
check
the thing.
bags. Because sometimes because we usually only go out with carry on, but sometimes when we buy liquids, we're like, you know what, we're gonna check it on the way back or wherever we're going next
Yeah, I
because
like to check my. We only carry travel on size, but
yeah.
we like to check them.
Yeah,
Generally speaking.
if we have enough time, like layovers, it depends
Yeah.
where we're going and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
so thank you for bringing it up, Jose. I appreciate it, man.
That's a good point.
Do you plan visiting Advent markets in Eastern Europe? Yes, we have. So Macaboy, we've been to a lot of the Christmas markets throughout Eastern Europe and Central Europe and Western Europe and Northern Europe and Southern Europe, and so we always like doing those. We have plenty of videos on like the 511 hates of Christmas markets and what not to do at Christmas markets, the don'ts of Christmas markets, what to eat at Christmas markets. We've got what to do and travel during the winter in Europe and Christmas in Europe and the U.S. So there's a bunch of stuff we do have there. So there is that.
Okay. What's your favorite beer in Germany?
In Germany,
Hawk beer?
Schifferhofer. Schifferhofer. It's
Not
it's
Walters?
no, not Walters. As much as I love the name Walters Pilsner, I can admit that sometimes it's not as tasty as the name sounds. The Schifferhofer is my favorite one in Germany. So anonymous automation rights. Did you guys hear about what happened in Morocco with the beheading of two Scandinavian female tourists? I did hear about that. It's a horrible, horrible thing. People have written us like they don't want to go. They're scared to go to Morocco. We were just in Morocco last month. We had no problems out there, and that's the thing is there's a person a tourist was killed in Costa Rica, which is another super safe place to go to. Look, there's crazy, insane people everywhere, and I'm there.
Well, and
That's why.
accidents happen anywhere.
Well, these aren't accidents, but
Well,
yeah, I know what
maybe
you mean.
not. But what I'm saying is like life is dangerous, isn't it? I mean, things can happen anywhere. I mean, you can fall. Mark fell down the stairs the other day.
In my own house.
I mean, you know what? It's
We're not trying to equate falling down the stairs to these
no,
horrible acts.
no,
Not at all.
I'm not at all. But what I'm saying is that life is a risk. I mean, no matter where you go. And we loved Morocco and in Costa Rica, and we never felt uncomfortable or unsafe. You know, be aware anywhere you are, and
And just, I mean,
you
you
have
just
to
got to
be
be careful.
safe.
You have to be careful, and that's the thing is this gets people to pay more attention because that's one of the things I get upset with when I see a lot of travel vloggers and bloggers and especially Instagrammers. They'll go places that aren't necessarily safe and they'll make it look like this super safe, wonderful place. I'm like, that's why we do the loves and hates. That's why we always talk about safety and stuff like that because most people don't. And then I'm like, look, you just need to have a heads up for these things. But sometimes you can't stop crazy. So or horrible people. So
you,
our prayers out to their families and for that. So we'll move on to some happier subjects now. Okay, so Deathlock rocks. If I only have 4 days in Europe, what country or city is doable in a short time frame? Just fly to Paris or fly to Prague or Rome and just do those for your 4 days.
yeah,
That's what I would
or
say for you.
London.
Or London, yeah. So there's that.
Yep.
Let's see. Will you visit Southeast Asia? Yes. We were supposed to go this summer, but then we had a wedding in Brazil to go to, so our entire plans got switched around. So we're trying to find a new window to put us back in there because when we have the biggest time to go is when it's actually rainy season there. And we've had friends that have gone there during the rainy season and the monsoon seasons and stuff like that. And it was, I mean, I saw their videos and I talked to them about it and they're like, don't do it. So we got to make sure we can find it in the right time so the kids can go too because we're not going to go to Southeast Asia without the kids because we want them to see that. So.
I don't know when we're gonna get to Turkey, and it's not the only place we haven't visited yet. There's still other places to see.
Egypt.
Well, yeah, he was saying about Europe, but there's a lot that we
Andorra.
haven't seen.
I haven't been to Andorra.
Um,
Bordeaux. We're going to go to Bordeaux next year.
that's not a country.
I know, I'm just trying to regions because, we need to get like Bulgaria and Ukraine, Moldova, stuff like that.
There's a lot left to see. So it's just a matter of time and getting there. So, yeah. Anyway, never been to Thailand, no, but we will get there. Have we been to other places in Morocco? We just did Marrakesh and Casablanca.
So we had like a week and
It was
we could get there.
kind of too short to get too many other places in. There were certainly other places we wanted to go.
Yeah.
And we met a couple of people actually who'd done some really cool trips that like were organized, and they saw the one lady that was in our cooking class. I'm not kidding, she hit like 20 cities in a week.
No, she was there for like
2 weeks?
2 or 3 weeks. She was there for a while.
Was it? I
Yeah.
mean, it was,
But
but whatever.
that
She
was it was
saw
almost too
so
fast.
much.
Yeah, but she saw so much. But that's one thing. It's like if you want to see a lot in a short amount of time, that's where tours
Yeah,
do a really
tours are
good
great
job
for
for that.
that.
You don't get to really in depth, but you get to like get a taste of a lot of stuff. So, to-do-to-do.
There was something there that I saw.
So favorite part of Ireland and Northern Ireland. So Aiden. So for me, Giant's Causeway in in Northern Ireland was probably the coolest natural feature I've seen in the British Isles, and one of the coolest things you'll see in the world. It was just such a cool experience. But then I would say my favorite little town to go to in Ireland is maybe the Kinsale on the southern coast by Cork, or where was say I always loved going to Kilkenny, but actually Waterford was a really nice surprise as well because I was just thinking, oh, it's just the crystal, but it's so much more than that. So there's some really nice little places. And that's the thing is Ireland is one of those places you can find your own little hidden like lovely little village. So that's
Oh, easily.
easily. So that's really
The
nice.
UK's full of that. I love finding our own special little places. Mr. Batman, well, do you want her to like you more? Do you want to like her more? Is that, I mean, it is personal. I can't answer it for you,
But realize the answer you give her will
we'll give her a
either hope or not hope. So
yeah. Well, I mean, you cannot go in
or you need to make
her.
or you need to make sure up front like, hey, look, just to make sure here they were going as a platonic friends or whatever. So I would lay that out there beforehand
because
sometimes
traveling
it
is
can
an
just be fun.
intimate experience. I mean, whether it's romantic or not, you are close and you are together and you see the good, the bad, and the ugly. So it may be a test. Mark tested me
Yep.
when we first were dating.
Mm-hmm.
Took me to Paris for a couple of days, and I passed.
Obviously, no, but that's actually
I'm glad I passed.
me too. That's actually one thing is when I've traveled around or we've traveled around, we've bumped into a number of people that started their trip with a boyfriend or girlfriend and were now traveling by themselves because they figured out that this is not the person for me. Especially if you go in the summer, about I would say like early July, late June, because a lot of the college students will go like after graduation or something like mid May, and so they're like they're 6 weeks backpacking Europe, and then like 3 weeks
the end
in,
of that?
they're like 3 or 4 weeks in, like I hate her, I hate him, I hate them, and they like break up. And so I remember my brother and I we were backpacking years ago, and like because we were in our 20s at the time, and we were doing the post college backpacking thing, and we every time we went to, we met another guy or another lady that had broke up with her boyfriend or girlfriend because like, oh, I don't like him anymore. I'm like, well, at least now you know.
It can make or break. It made us.
That's right. No, but it is true because that's one thing is you don't just hop into these relationships. You want to make sure they still work. So Jose's
Thank
back.
you.
Another stoplight, obviously. What cities does Jocelyn think have the best architecture that you've seen?
So in the U.S., I'm going to say Charleston, Boston, St. Augustine, and of course my personal favorite is Savannah. That's on the East Coast. There's so much more, but I'm just going to go with those for now. Rome is exemplary. Athens is working on the preservation. Athens has a lot of great, beautiful, amazing architecture, and walking those streets is awesome. London London has some really cool stuff, but also got a lot of new stuff thrown in, which makes it kind of an interesting dichotomy there.
That fire a few
And
hundred years ago really kind of.
it changed things, right? But I mean, there's still good stuff, and Paris is, the places, and Lisbon does a good job too. I mean, they had the earthquake and all
Yeah.
those things, but you know what? Preservation in the U.S. as opposed to most of the rest of the world is different because the rest of the world keeps using the old buildings, and we tend to tear them down and build something new. So preservation is a different mindset in those two places as far as I'm concerned.
So Porks for Life, I know you're all about the Chicago stuff. Get some donuts at Stan's. Get their old fashioned donut at Stan's. You'll be fine there. The Art Institute of Chicago, the Museum of Science and Industry,
Awesome.
Shedd Aquarium, Field Museum is really good. So you'll be fine with all those things. I teach marketing, Dennis. So you're asking what subject I teach? I teach marketing. So you want to go? What's up, Caleb?
Excuse me.
Caleb's got a Christmas thing coming up, so she's got to help with that. Let's see what are some other questions out there. So Stefan Boucher, Stefan writes, have you ever been to one of the German islands like Sylt, Amrum? I have not. I've been on the north coast by Bremen and Bremerhaven. I've also been on the north coast of Warnemünde and Kiel and stuff like that. Then going over more towards the eastern German side, they actually are very nice. A lot of people don't think about going to Germany and going to the islands, but if you go in the summertime, the northern on the North Sea and stuff like that, in the Baltic Sea, kind of, well, whatever, up at the very top of Germany, actually some really nice islands to go check out there. Okay, also some really expensive houses on the west side too for that. Let's see. So Lindsay writes, "What are your thoughts of traveling to Texas? Texas is a cool place. I really enjoyed it. We were there this earlier this year in Austin, San Antonio. San Antonio is one of my favorite cities to visit for a tourist in the U.S. because it's got the Spanish missions to go see. It's got the Alamo. It's got the Riverwalk. It's got puffy tacos you have to eat when you're there. So we have some videos on Texas and Austin and San Antonio. Lindsay, if you want to check that out, but I think it's a good place to go. People are super nice. It's a big state, so you're gonna have a lot of driving, but they got Buc-ee's to go to, a gas station you got to stop at. Yes, it's a gas station you have to stop at. It's an experience for Texas. You should really go there. Um, let's see. Sam Island writes, "What is your longest flight ever taken?" It was an L.A. to Sydney flight when I was 16. I was going down to be an exchange student in Temora, New South Wales, Australia. And it was my first, I would say it's my first real flight because I did my eighth grade trip to Washington, D.C. It was like St. Louis to D.C., but my first international flight, that was the L.A. to Sydney. And I was not sure what to expect. And that's why now I make sure I always have backup batteries and stuff like that to charge up anything and everything that might need charged to keep me occupied over the whole long flights, okay? Because sometimes those screens don't work, so be prepared, okay? Um, let's see. Candace Holler. I thought the airport O'Hare was nice, expensive but nice. The skyline, wow, beautiful. Yeah, Candace. Chicago is a beautiful city. The skyline's great. In our there's a architectural boat tour you can do in Chicago in nicer weather. That really talks about the history of the skyscrapers there. It's really cool. I will say though, if you're going to be going to O'Hare Airport, don't mess with the lines because it can be. I know a lot of people that missed flights because they underestimated how long it would take to get through security at O'Hare. Okay, and also if you're going to be flying into Chicago, into O'Hare, you come into Terminal 5, and then when you're flying out to another domestic spot, you might go to Terminal 1, 2, or 3, and you have to take a train to this other one, and the train is outside security, which means you have to go back through security again to get in. So if you've got a tight connection, just go, 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 go. That's all I'm going to say right there. Um, obey me. Yes, obey me. What is the best country you visited in Europe and why? I think for me, it's Italy because of the people, the food, the architecture, the history. It's got everything, and there's beautiful nature too, and it's got nice weather. So it's got everything that kind of a tourist is really going for. But because of that, it probably has the worst thing is the insane number of tourists that go there in places like Rome and Venice and stuff like that. So there are some bad stuff too. But I'm a huge Italy person. I also love France a lot too. So having me pick one is really tough. So like I'll be going to both next year multiple times because they're both awesome. So there is that. Let's see. Okay, so Dennis Gurmanel-Shavili. Sorry, I butchered your name, man. I'm a horrible person. Sorry for all the questions. I promise this is the last one. It's okay. You can ask more questions, my friend. What was the worst, most obnoxious thing you have ever seen done by a tourist? And you'd like to wish us a very nice Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you too, buddy. So obnoxious things. I remember, well, Jocelyn will probably talk about, we were in Versailles and the tourists reaching behind the glass covers and the plastic covers to protect the like paintings and protect the walls. The guy was like reaching behind it and like rubbing it and feeling it. And then all the other tourists did that, people destroying the art and stuff like that. Selfie sticks, anyone with a selfie stick that is totally doesn't care about anyone else and will just push people. I've had where people like shove our kids out of the way because they want to get the right selfie kind of thing. That's really obnoxious. I think also with the selfie things, doing selfies in inappropriate places. Like I've seen a lot. Like I was in New York last year, the year before, it was last year, and there was a bunch of people that were doing that duck face. Ooh, look at me! I'm at the 9/11 memorial. Ooh, yeah. Or at the concentration camps in Poland and Germany that are like being inappropriate. I thought that's one of those obnoxious things I really don't like. I think is kind of wrong. So that's what bothers me. So man, you're really about to Chicago. Yes, go get some Garrett's popcorn. Get the Garrett mix with this cheddar cheese and caramel corn. Just get a small bag. Try it. You'll be fine. Grab it at the airport on your way in or out, so you'll be all right. Um, let's see. Thanks, Dennis. You take care too, my friend. Let's see. Let's go find some more questions out there. Because what happens first, that thing you see scrolling over there on the side, I'm like, you get these before we do, and so we're like somewhere way up here. So I'm like scrolling down to try to find different ones out there, because it kind of like goes by. So sometimes I don't always get to get all the stuff. Um, let's see. Okay, so someone asked, why do we build houses in the U.S. with wood? Because it's cheap. I mean, that's why. Like number one reason, it's cheap to build houses with wood versus brick. That's why you'll see people don't have like a facade on the front of brick, and the rest will be siding and stuff like that. Because brick's expensive, so you build houses in the
Cheap
U.S. with
and plentiful, and we don't really care if it lasts for 400 years here.
basically, yeah, because they'll tear it down and build something
I
else
have bad
there.
attitude about that.
Yes. So let's see.
AJ, yes, we have been to Boston. Actually, last summer we went. Or have you already answered that?
What, the Boston one? No.
Yeah. Okay. So we went last summer, and I went and had a cooking class, which was really cool. And Mark's been there quite a bit more than I have, but we both really like the city. It's a great place, and it's human scale. Like, I mean, it's a big city, but you can see a lot of things.
So we got a bunch of little ones here in a row we can kind of go through. So Dave asked, right, are you serious about people doing that to 9/11 memorial? Yeah, I'm serious about it. It is disgusting. Travel with Aaron. Do you travel with money or just use your credit card when you travel outside the country? What we do is we always call our banks to let them know, and our credit card companies know that we're going to be traveling, and we use that. If you got to get cash out, we use our local bank debit card at a bank ATM, not a private ATM. Go to a bank
Yeah, it's a
ATM,
big deal.
and take out money that way. Also, when you're taking out money from ATMs abroad or using credit cards to buy anything, if they offer, oh, we'll change the money for you. We'll give you the exchange rate so you know what the U.S. dollar amount is because we can't guarantee that exchange rate. Don't ever do it because you'll have it where they charge you an extra 10% because of that. Take the local currency. Though I'll pay in euros on my credit card, and because your bank's going to charge you a fee, or maybe they'd have the fees or not,
Some do,
to
some
do
don't.
some do for the exchange rate stuff. So you get charged twice for it anyway, and then get a horrible rate. I mean, I've seen over 10% markups on some of these things. So don't do it. Just get your ATM, your debit card ATM, do that. And so we do that most of the time when we're doing those things. Okay. Hong Kong and Singapore. We've had Joaquim writes, do you like Hong Kong or Singapore? I have not been to either of them, but I have friends that live at both of them, and they love both of them. So when we do our Southeast Asia trip, we'll be hitting both of those when we go down there. So spicing it up a bit, what is your favorite Nordic country and why? I think for tourists, Sweden's probably your best Nordic country because of the nature that's there and the cities that are there. My personal favorite's Finland, but that's because I live there and I have family there. So the Hutalas, love you
Yeah.
guys. So there's that.
Best book behind me, Delirium of the Brave. That isn't like, Shakespeare or Jane Austen or something. Delirium of the Brave. I love that book. Okay.
Let's see.
Should you go to Greece?
Yes.
Absolutely. And Louis, come on, you're Greek, or at least you have a Greek sounding name. Yes, obviously.
So, AJ Madrigal writes, what are some travel tips for visiting New York? One, don't stop in the middle of the sidewalk. They'll run you over and they'll be pissed off. If you want to take a picture or something like that, just walk over to the side, like the wall side or the street side, and take your pictures there because that's like, there's heavy flow in the middle. On the outside, you can get off to the side. Otherwise, you have a good time to where you go. If you're going to be, if you're pressed for time, and you're going to go out to go see the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, just take the boat around the Statue of Liberty because you can't go in it all the time. So sometimes you can only go in the base. So I would just go around because that's pretty, and then go to Ellis Island and do that because that's really cool.
Christia, I'm really glad that you took your kids on a trip. Rome, Vienna, and Krakow. Those are great places, and I'm really glad that you did that. Yeah, travel with kids.
Yes, always travel with your kids. Makes it much more of an enjoyable experience, and it gives you memories to talk about for years, which is amazing. So nice meme writes, what's the most American city not in North America that you've been to?
It's hard.
That's tough. I would think maybe like a Sao Paulo, but that's a mega city, has a feel to it. I think sometimes I feel like a Berlin or a Frankfurt because they got kind of wiped. They got wiped out during the war, so they were rebuilt. So they have the architecture, the newer feel. Like because you go to Frankfurt or you go to Berlin, you don't really feel all the time like you're in Germany. It's more of an international kind of city where you're like, this could almost be anywhere.
Though, when we lived in Portugal, this Brits are going to kill me for this, but um, I, London felt very like home to me. And it makes sense because so much of the US was settled by English first, and we have sort of that heritage. So for me, London always felt as close to, I don't know why. I guess I don't know. I always felt that I felt those American roots there. Not that it's an American like city by any means, but there's something there for me.
So Joaquin writes, is it cold outside where you live? Yes. I know I have a t-shirt on, but I have my winter coat right behind the thing. So, and it's nice and thick. So yes, it's quite chilly. Yes, if you're gonna be in Chicago and the Cubs are playing, you should go see a game at Wrigley
Absolutely.
Park.
Best
And
place to see baseball.
yeah, she's a huge Cubs fan. I am not, but I will go to a Cubs game at Wrigley because it's a really cool experience.
Pretty pretty amazing.
So there's been some question about places we've gone in England. Have you been to Grimsby in England and Canada? No, I haven't been to either one of those. Another one asked, where was it? There's another one that they'd asked about in somewhere in England, but it's Newcastle. I've driven by Newcastle. I've not been in Newcastle, so I cannot say anything about that. So I do apologize. Um, so Stephen Brad writes, how long have you been traveling? Where were you both traveling before you met each other, or is it something you decided on after you got married? Well, you want to talk? You've been traveling since you were a kid.
Yeah, my parents always traveled. We always did stateside. We went to Mexico and Canada a bit because, well, we lived on the border in Arizona, and my aunt and uncle lived like 2 miles from the border of Canada. So we did that. But my dad read this book called Travels with Charlie, and they sold everything they owned and bought a camper and started driving. And they kind of, that was early in their marriage, and that sort of idea just stuck with our family. We just went places all the time. It was slightly planned, kind of like Mark and I travel now. Is like it's we research it, but we just go and experience it and kind of we're roll with things. So I always did tons in the U.S. I'd gone to Greece and the Bahamas and some other things before Mark and I met, but like my outside the U.S. stuff really started with Mark when we got married.
And like when I never traveled when I was a little kid. Like our vacations, we lived in Illinois. We went to Ohio and Sandusky and Cedar Point, and then we go to Toledo to see my grandpa, and that was our
One
vacation.
time you went to Hilton Head.
Yes, when I was 15, we went to South Carolina, and then once when I was like in sixth grade, we went to Florida. But otherwise, it was Ohio every year. So I started to study abroad when I was 15. I went to Australia, and that kind of started me on it. So I started traveling a lot. I did my master's abroad. I did my PhD abroad. I worked abroad, and so I've done a lot of stuff before we started dating and stuff like that. And we just kind of continued the traveling our own way together and separate. We'll do trips with each other. We'll do trips without each other. We'll do trips with the kids and stuff like that.
We do
And so,
trips with our parents. We do trips with our friends, with or without each other. We just like to travel.
that's right. So AJ, when traveling from state to state in the U.S., is it cheaper to drive or fly? Um, Time wise, it's obviously faster to fly, but it depends where you're going to be. Like if you're going to be driving,
Chicago to St. Louis, don't fly.
don't fly. You'll wait at the airport. You have to check in earlier than the actual drive, probably for the whole experience.
Americans were like, it's only 10 hours. I can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Americans have a very different idea of driving than anyone else in the world, I think. Australians do it too. They're like that.
Because it's so big.
But yeah, unless you're doing like multiple, like if you're jumping 5 or 6 states, then absolutely you need to fly. But otherwise, I mean, we have friends who drive to Florida like 2 and 3, 4 times a year, and that's
we've
like
done it before. It's like 20 hours.
we've done it, and it's all right. When you drive, you get to stop and see a lot of America. We don't have a train system like Europe and other places, in Asia does. We drive and we stop and we see all the cool stuff along the way.
So some other ones. Nicardo Knight, hey man, I was just watching your Don'ts in New York City. Hey, well, thanks for popping over after that. I appreciate it. Christian writes, I'm studying abroad next summer in Metz, France. Cool town, you'll be fine there. Nancy is a great place to go. That's right by there, by the way. Where can I go that's memorable? And also, where would I not get overrun by tourists? It's my first trip to Europe. So if you're going there to study for the semester, you'll have plenty of places to go on the weekends. And if you're studying for the semester, you'll be there probably in the the September's, October's, November's, or if it's February, March, April, you're gonna have pretty like slower weekends. You'll be okay. You can go anywhere, but from where you're at, Nancy is gonna be a nice trip to go to, and you can do that. Like if you have a day off of school, you go for a day trip there. You get down to Strasbourg's nice. You can go over to Germany really easily and from where you are. Luxembourg's right there too. There's a train that goes from there to Luxembourg, which is kind of but you can at least get to Luxembourg. But you have a lot of flights that are relatively close from there that you can get anywhere in Europe, so you'll be fine there. Um,
Sarah Spain, thank you. Merry Christmas to you. The Aurora Borealis is one of those experiences. My bucket list is experiences, not places. And so, but I think you have really, the further north you are, the better chance you have. A lot of it has to do with, weather and things like that. But I'd like to really see it in Lapland.
It is cool. That's where I saw it.
That's where I would like to see it. But I know some friends of mine, my cousin, she and her husband just saw it when they were in Iceland, and they were there for a week, and only one night did it show. So just know that it's not going to hit all the time. So, but I think you have a better chance the further north you are.
So, Mr. Batman's back. Do you have any traveling plans for New Year's? Yeah, we're going to go 2 blocks that way and go drink with some friends of ours and celebrate.
They have a pajama party. The kids, the parents, everybody just comes in their pajamas and relaxes. And that's kind of our New Year's now. We're old.
Yeah. So Eric's heart, most impressive building you've ever visited. I don't know if it's the most one I've ever seen, but I was very much impressed. 2 things I've been very impressed by. The Alhambra in Granada, Spain is unbelievable. And then for a new building that's been built within the last 30 years, I would say the Hassan II Mosque in Casablanca is pretty impressive. So
I don't know if I can answer that.
There's
that's
so many good ones out
really
there.
hard for me.
But those ones just popped in my head.
Well, the Parthenon always pops up for me, but that's because I'm half Greek, and that's huge for my heart. I love the Pantheon. I don't know. There's so many.
There's so many.
I can't. Yep. Okay.
So Eric writes, how did you study abroad at 15? I'm trying to do the same thing, but all programs are very expensive. Yeah, it was a bit cheaper back in the day when I was there. We went with Rotary. I went with Rotary. A lot of it gets sponsored that way. So sometimes there's some scholarship stuff when you're in high school. In college, some places, like if you have an expensive school, sometimes it's cheaper to spend a semester abroad than actually to go to school in the U.S. for a semester. So that's one thing there. But yeah, there's no getting around it. It's not a cheap thing to do. So sorry, Eric. Sorry I didn't have a golden ticket or anything, buddy.
But you did. Did you just say that you did Rotary Exchange?
Yeah, and they help out some way.
That's helpful.
So Dave, that's right. Europe doesn't have trains. Sorry,
Did
Dave.
you see me frowning? I'm like, what does that mean?
Dave, don't make me ban you from here, okay?
I don't get that.
Let's see. Next destination, we're gonna go to Belize next month.
Belize and then Jamaica.
Well, I'm going to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And you're probably gonna go somewhere, I'm sure.
I just haven't booked any tickets yet.
Yeah. Can we speak any Asian languages? Sadly, no. I remember I took a 2-week intensive Chinese course before I went to teach in China like 5 years ago, and I got good enough that I could like pick out chicken and some food, and I could be polite. But it was just it was really tough. But I learned a little, but it's all gone now. So I remember xie and buyao, but not much else. Yao, buyao. So there's that.
That's all I remember too.
So Louis Bergantis, what's your favorite airline? We use Delta all the time. That's what we love right
Delta
now.
People.
Yeah, so Dave S is Delta. See, Dave, good save there, buddy. But I know Emirates is amazing, but we haven't flown to one of their destinations yet, so that's why I've been trying it. So one day I'm sure we will. Travel advice for Egypt. We have not been there personally yet, so I cannot give you any travel advice for it. We do want to go there. We're looking maybe not in 2020 for one of our
one of my girlfriends is Egyptian, and her immediate family all still lives there. So she has already got it like set up so that we have people to be with and get some good local input. So when we get there, we have great connections for the good stuff. So it'll be good information.
So Aaron, hey, thanks for stopping by. We have a good lunch with your friends and family, and have a great holiday too. And we hope you all have really happy holidays. Whatever you do celebrate, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah. I know that's past now, but whatever holidays you Saturnalia, Happy Saturnalia if you celebrate that.
I don't know what that is.
Don't worry about
Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa.
Yeah. So whatever holidays you do, we're glad you can celebrate. We're glad you spent a little bit of your day with us, because we're gonna have to go here in a little bit. Which one?
Bill Cosby.
Yeah, no.
I can't.
So Leonidas, yes, that's well, good name, good name.
Of course it is.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? I have not been to Ukraine. I don't think you've been to Ukraine.
No, I've not been to Ukraine.
So we might try to put that in with our big stands trip.
Tall S, we do have videos on Washington D.C. And our friend Rob at Trip Packs DC, he is an excellent guide, like one of the best certainly the best I've had in the United States.
He's a good guy too,
and he's just a cool person. He has great information, so that's watch our videos, but go look at his stuff.
Yeah, we have Don'ts of DC and 5 Eats of DC, but he's got like everything for DC on his stuff. So Trip Hacks DC on YouTube, be really helpful.
Williamsburg, we've been to a few places in Virginia. My cousin
Charlottesville is gorgeous up in the mountains where the University of Virginia really is. Cool. It's just amazing. And
Monticello, Be Still My Heart.
Yeah. So, man, Batman, you are everywhere. What is the best French dinner you would recommend to cook yourself? Confit de canard, the duck, for me, is the winner. Winner, duck dinner. So we have that.
Duck dinner? Has to be duckin', because chicken winner.
Duck and dinner. Whatever.
Okay, fine. I don't know. I really like to make snails on my own. I know it's crazy, and they're not the best because you have to get them canned and do stuff. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So, last couple things here. What's your favorite Greek food, Jocelyn?
I don't know. I love spanakopita.
Oh, I like
spanakopita.
It's basically spinach with rice.
And rice, and
it's so simple but so good.
Green beans, with the tomatoes and the onion and the 5 pounds of lathe. Like the oil.
The oil. It's all about the oil. Just
bathe it in the oil. I actually do that.
Yeah, she is kind of like that.
Stereotypical my big fat Greek wedding.
Big fat Greek wedding thing, yeah. So, Coronavirus Singh writes, how's Vienna? Vienna is great, actually. Vienna is a great city to go to. Good music, like really, really top-notch museums of all types. You've got really good food that's there because Vienna was the head of the capital of the Habsburg Empire. So you've got Hungarian food there. You've got Italian food there. You've got all the kind of, where all the empire went, they came there and have restaurants there with, it's cool. I studied there. I taught there. I'll be teaching there again this year. It's a really cool city.
It's a cool place.
You will not have any problems.
And it's a great place to go to other places from. It's nicely located amidst so many other things, and because of the empire, you've got good stuff going to all those places.
So Ronster writes, "What's your favorite Finnish food?" So I love my Hesburger Keroshamperleinen. And Josh is like, yeah, and the punainen mayonnaise, the red mayonnaise. That's a fast food thing. I think for Finnish food that I really liked, they just did anything with a mushroom sauce. They made this amazing mushroom sauce when it was seasoned. You go mushroom hunting and make these just incredible sauces. I loved that. I loved there's
reindeer.
Reindeer's okay, but
it's Christmas.
Yeah, not now. Hey, we give it up for Christmas. But they have like these little. Well, their cinnamon rolls are fantastic, but they have these like little. It's like mashed potatoes and egg kind of put inside a little like pastry shell kind of. And that I really like that one there. Matthew Rollins, thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you too. I'm glad we could help save you in Barcelona and hopefully some other places too. It's really super nice of you, man. Thank you so much. And a very Merry Christmas to you too.
Ray Earth, you know what? We've only been to you've been to a couple of countries in Africa, but
I love Tunisia. We love Morocco, and we're excited to go to Tanzania and Rwanda this summer. All those places, well, from what I've read about Rwanda and Tanzania, they're fantastic. And Tunisia, I love Tunisia. Morocco was great too, but I really love Tunisia. But that was before the Arab Spring, so I don't know what it's like now. But the people of Tunisia were awesome. They were so friendly. And the Louage drivers, the crazy private taxi drivers, just like that was dangerous, but it was a great experience. Okay, so we got to wrap it up here. In Vienna must-sees, we have some older videos from Vienna. Just look up Wolters World Top 10 Sites Vienna. You get some of our things there. It's a bit old, but it'll give you some ideas of what to see and do. So hopefully that'll help you out. But we wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. Happy holidays. We got some videos. I know I was trying to get out the Don'ts of Chicago for this weekend, but I've cut it down to like 30 minutes from how much stuff I had. I'm going to try to cut it down to about 15. So
there's a lot not to do in Chicago, buddy.
Well, I went on some tangents a few times, and
Squirrel.
yeah, so I was going through. I'm like, I need to cut this down a bit because yeah, but
Much.
I mean, it was a bit much. I'm shooting for like a 12 to 15 minute one, so I'm trying to cut out some things for that. So hopefully we'll have that at least latest will be your Christmas Day gift for the 25th day of Christmas. We've got another video tomorrow coming out is a review for this year and some ideas where we're going to go for 2019. And then we'll be finishing off, and I think we might take off after Christmas. We'll see. Maybe we'll take off the rest of the year to kind of rest after 25 days of videos and stuff like that. Maybe take a little rest, and then we'll be back for the first of the year with tons of new videos for you. And the shocks and the don'ts and all kinds of good stuff will be coming. So wish you all very, very, very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Merry Christmas.
And when you start preparing for your summer travels and spring travels, we do hope you check out woltersworld.com and our blogs there. And you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, all at Wolters World. And we wish you all the best. And we'll say bye from our library and happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.